With the release of the new Dino bosses, in this video you will find everything you need to know. Yo, what's up guys, I'm Cherries and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Rex Matriarchs and everything you need to know about them, including requirements, drops, pets, etc. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. The only requirement to start killing this boss on release is access to Anachronia. If you've never been there before, all you need to do is access it through the Stormbreaker east of the Varrock dig site. When you get to Anachronia for the first time, you're gonna have to reach the base camp before you can do anything on the island. I will leave a link in the description to the wiki page on the guide on how to do this. As for the recommended, you're gonna need level 70 plus combat stats on every style, so magic, melee, and range. You're also gonna need at least tier 70 combat gear for all styles as well. And hybrid armor is gonna be really useful here, something like War Priest or Anima Core of Sliska. As for the location, you're going to be able to find the Rex Matriarchs in the Spirit Grove in Anachronia. You can see on screen now the map of where to find them. To get here, you can use the teleporters around Anachronia from the Orthen dig site from Archaeology, but for that you are going to need the teleport node on Archaeology Mystery. Although the absolute best way to get here is going to be the portal at War's Retreat. If you didn't know, the portal all the way to the right where Raksha currently is takes you to the newest boss release, so that is going to be the Rex Matriarchs for a while. With this release, you're going to be fighting 3 new bosses. The Pavasaurus Rex Pentraken, which is the mage boss, the Corbicular Rex Rathis, which is the range boss, and the Bagrata Rex Orichalca, which is the melee boss. These are going to work a lot like Dagonoth Kings, where you need to be using the correct style to do effective damage to the boss. This is why hybrid gear and having weapons for each style is going to be really useful here if you want to kill all 3 of them. If you attack the mage boss, you have to kill him with range. If you attack the range boss, you have to kill him with melee. And if you attack the melee boss, you have to kill him with magic. Now let's take a look at the drops. The Rex Matriarchs are going to drop 4 different hearts, which are the Heart of the Warrior, Seer, Archer, and Berserker. If these behave the same way that Dagonoth Kings do, Orichalca is going to drop the Heart of the Warrior and Berserker, Rathis is going to drop the Heart of the Archer, and Pentraken is going to drop the Heart of the Seer. These hearts can be combined with 10 of the Dagonoth King rings, so Archer ring, Seer's ring, Warrior's ring, and Berserker's ring respectively, to upgrade to a new ring. Even though the hearts are tradable, so you can go and sell them in the GE, once you combine them with the 10 rings, the ring becomes untradable and non-refundable, which means there's no way of getting your heart back or your 10 rings back. Once you make it, it's stuck in your account. This 10 DK's ring requirement is making the rings super expensive, so even if you're a low level, you can do Dagonoth Kings. I do have a video on how to AFK Rex or safe spot him for lower levels, so if you want to check that out, just make sure you click the top right of the screen right now. The first ring we're going to be looking at is the Champion's Ring, and that is made by combining 10 Warrior's Ring with the Heart of the Warrior. This ring grants plus 30 strength bonus, which is the highest of any ring in the game, and it also grants plus 5 prayer. It also has a special effect, which is plus 3% critical chance against bleeding targets. This ring can be really powerful if used alongside a Spear of Annihilation with lunging on it, which allows you to have this member on any monster pretty much all the time. Next up, we have the Challenge Ring, which grants plus 30 magic and plus 5 prayer, and its special effect is plus 4% stat and critical chance per hit during magic channeled abilities. This is a little technical, so let me explain. Let's use Asphyxiate as an example, which is a channel ability that has 4 hits. This ring will grant you plus 4% critical chance on the first hit, plus 8% on the second hit, plus 12% on the third hit, and finally plus 16% on the last hit. Given Asphyxiate is one of your most powerful abilities, this ring is not half bad. Next up, we have the Stalker's Ring, which grants plus 30 ranged and plus 5 prayer, and its special effect isn't one of the best. It's just plus 3% critical chance when using a bow, but Criminal Bolts are so good and you can only use them with a crossbow that I don't know how good this is going to be. I don't know if it's going to make using a bow worth it, but I guess we'll have to see. Finally, we have the Reaver's Ring, which grants plus 27 to all styles, plus 5 prayer, and plus 17 armor. This is just a little bit lower than the Ring of Death. Its special effect increases your critical chance by 5%, but reduces your accuracy by 5% as well. This is the ring that I see being used the most because of one reason, and that is the Ring of Death. Even though every other ring would be best in slot for their respective style, I don't know how many people are going to be willing to risk not wearing a Ring of Death and paying those really high death costs. But I have a theory where you might just not have to do that, and I'll talk about it later in the video. But because this ring lowers your accuracy, you're probably only going to use it at lower level bosses or places where you have over 100% accuracy, so risking that ring of death is not going to be that bad. The other drops you can expect are laniakea spear pieces. It drops in 4 pieces that are tradable, and it is a tier 82 spear with tier 90 damage and tier 75 accuracy. It has a special effect that grants you plus 5% chance to apply poison and plus 5% poison damage. And most importantly, it has halberd range, which is what the scythe has, so you can attack enemies from 1 square away. Because of its accuracy, it's not going to be really good at high tier bosses, but thanks to its special effect and range, it's going to be really good for Slayer and lower level bosses or something like Corp where you can only use a spear. As usual, with 3 new bosses come 3 new pets, so you're going to want to be looking out for the pristine Bagrata, Corbicula, and Pavosaurus egg. These unlock the Bagra, Corby, and Pavo pets respectively, and of course there's one for each boss. As for other information, they put up a news post that has info that they didn't really mention anywhere else. I'll have the link to the news post down in the description as well. For Rathis, they said you'll want to keep your distance from this gal, she's toxic. Her ghostly green ranged attacks will send you packing if you aren't prepared, so stock up on those anti-poisons before you step into the ring. So yeah, if this isn't clear enough, she's gonna poison you, so bring the Venom Blood perk or your anti-poison to the fight. For Penthraken, they said, bless you. Oh, that's her name? Penthraken is the Pavosaurus Rex Matriarch, and she uses magic to electrocute her enemies. Shocking. This doesn't really tell us much, but electricity is usually related to stuns, so I'm gonna guess she's gonna stun you a lot. For Orichalca, they said, Orichalca is the Bagrata Rex Matriarch. Her thick height makes her specially suited to melee combat, but don't brush her off as all brawn, no brains, she's still got a few tricks up her sleeve. And yeah, this doesn't really tell us anything, so I don't know why I included it. Moving on. So other info that they did give us is that they're going to be mid-tier, so God Wars 2 difficulty. They're going to be very strong against non-weak style, but not immune, so maybe there's something we can do to fight them with a different style, we'll see. They also have a designated roaming area, which means you can fight one at a time without the other ones attacking you. And the most important one here is that their mechanics can help you kill the other Rexes. So maybe you can aim their mechanics at each other to damage them or something like that. I guess we'll see. They also mentioned you can go in an instance or in the overworld, so masses are possible. There is a new area for these, but there's nothing else in the area. It's just set up for future content. They work with Dino Slayers, so make sure you get an assignment before you kill them. And the Roar of Osseous, or whatever you call it, from Archaeology, doesn't affect their drops at all. Next up, let's talk about gear. Like I said at the beginning, you're going to want to use hybrid gear unless you want to be switching every time you kill one of these. Two-handed weapons are going to be really nice here since you only have to switch one thing between kills, but dual wield is going to work just as well. The Venom Blood perk is going to save you the hassle to have to use anti-poisons, but you can also use Irid Instant Sticks and overload them to reduce the poison damage by 100%. Zerker auras aren't going to be good here since you're going to be using one style a third of the time, so it's better to use something that is hybrid like the Marger aura or the Dark Magic aura. I'm assuming the Matriarchs are going to be poisonable, which is why I recommend using Cinderbanes, but we're just going to have to see. If they're not, something hybrid like War Priest gloves are going to be good enough. On screen now you can see the preset I made in preparation for these bosses. Some things to note is that I switched out the Anime Core helm of Sliska for the Slayer helm because I don't really feel like paying 50 mil for a helm that is really not going to bring me any bonuses. The only other thing to know on my gear are the Silverhawk boots, which are the best in slot for hybrids since they are the only boots that grant you strength, magic, and range bonuses. As for my weapons, I chose the Noxious Staff, Siren Godbow, and Spear of Annihilation. These are in my opinion the best weapons I have for these bosses, but they are by no means best in slot. Because of their styles, we can assume the Pterosaur Mole and the Inquisitor Staff are gonna work here, so those are gonna be best in slot, and for range I bring the Eldritch Crossbow in order to be able to use Criminal Bolts. As for familiars, damage familiars aren't gonna be great here since they can only attack one of the Rexes depending on their combat style, but the Reaper Demon is still useful since it has a passive effect allowing you to deal more damage the less HP the boss has. You can also bring a yak in order to bank the drops and have a little bit more supplies in there. Also take into account, this preset is made for you to last 1 hour at these bosses, but at the beginning, since we don't know the mechanics, we probably want to bring a lot more food and less supplies in order to get familiar with the bosses. As for my final thoughts, I want to talk about something that seemed really weird to me during the stream. In their inventory, along with all of the drops from these bosses, they had 4 rings. They didn't mention them, they didn't go over them, they didn't do anything with them. I believe they had them there for a reason, and this is pure speculation here, but what if you can add these rings to the new rings? So you want your Ring of Death effect on your Challenger's ring? Well, you're gonna have to sacrifice it, put it in there, the Ring of Death is gone, and now you have that effect on that ring. It just seems weird to me that knowing that most people wear Ring of Death because of the high death cost, they would introduce 4 new rings for them just to go into somebody's bank or not even buy them at all. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully I'm right, that would be an incredible update to the ring switch meta. But overall, I'm really excited to try out these bosses. There's going to be at least 11 new items for a collection, and that is going to be more progress towards the Road to Golden Reaper series. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to see that episode on Saturday. Leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it. You can click on screen out to go to my channel, a random video that YouTube will select for you, and the Road to Golden Reaper playlist. And I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.